Welcome. I'm honored. I'm honored to speak to you. It's my privilege to introduce Vasmie Siddiqi, who is the founder of Vas Sid Digital Solutions. And one of the things that inspires me is looking at people like you and learning from them. And the purpose that I have is how do I encourage women in our community to take this entrepreneurial journey. Thank you so much for giving us this time. It's an honor to speak to you, have a conversation. I hope people will listen to this, get inspired, learn from you, and seek inspiration. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that warm welcome.
Before I go any further, I just want to give a bit of an introduction about you to the community. It's very inspiring to see women like you who are doing exceptional things. What inspired you to do what you're doing? Can you tell us something about
it? Thank you. That's a very honorable introduction, really. Well, it started off with wanting to do something. I had a lot of support from family. I mean, the Vas Sid didn't come out overnight. It was a very thoughtful process. So, but it actually started off with wanting to do something. I stayed at home for a while after my daughter was born. So it was a couple of years that I spent at home. And then I wanted to get back. I had a lot of support from my mother who who just was encouraging me to do something to be more worth my while. And so, with women, it's like you tend to go with the flow. And since I'd been home for a long time, I may have just stayed home. But and for me, I had my priorities straight. I wanted to be home for my daughter, but at the same time, I wanted to be more meaningful. So I did a bit of research, think about a business or an opportunity that, could be viable from home and, could be scalable in the future. And then Vas Sid just comes up. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I know personally, I know you because you're a wife of one of my best friends. And it's very inspiring for Imran to give you this opportunity because our community is, the mindset is completely different, but I really love what he does.
Oh, yes.
He stands with you. And I would like to encourage all people around my circle to take this step. And what do you think about it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's very important, no matter what background you're from or where you're from. I think it's very important for a spouse to support, for spouse support. And Imran has always been, for me, he's always been like, encouraging me to be an achiever, not just to do something, but to be an achiever. So he plays a vital role in, pushing me and giving me all the support, because I stayed home for a while. So I had to brush up on my technical knowledge and skills and everything before I actually jumped in. So he supported me in that as well, let me stay up, do whatever I have to do, take whatever courses I have to take and all of that. So it's important to have that support in your family, and especially for women, because they're more emotionally charged. So you need someone to keep fueling you. So that's essential.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
And our generation faces a problem of balancing between the future and the past. So we have got children here and we have got parents back home. I know that you have temporarily moved to India to look after Imran's parents. It's so moving, and it's really inspiring that you're doing that and balancing between your entrepreneurial journey. Hats off to you. I hope you get great success in it, and please reach out to us if you need any help from our end. We'd love to be of help and support to you. And I think we all are very passionate about building women entrepreneurship in our community, and I'm a big supporter of that. And I know that you come from an engineering background. You did your software engineering, and how has that helped or connected you to do what you're doing now?
A lot actually, because like I said, when I wanted to get back to doing something, I was exploring different options and opportunities. And I was thinking around the lines of software development and programming. But then I realized that I can be actually using that for a more scalable business like digital marketing. And you know, I remember when I thought about digital marketing, I explored I looked at many different options. And when I was thinking about this, I said to myself, this is a business that somewhere down the years, every business is going to need a digital marketing. And I think we've reached there now. I think now that, because this was a while back, a couple of years ago, now I feel that, you know, we've reached there. Every business does need digital marketing. And I feel my understanding of how, you know, digital marketing, running your ads, your campaigns is one thing, and who's actually working on them is another thing. And a lot of the agencies that do digital marketing for your companies don't have an understanding of the basic Google algorithms and the Facebook algorithms or the LinkedIn algorithms. But I feel that my understanding is far advanced as compared to many others. And I think that really helps me in bringing the results to my clients that they actually need. It's also being a digital platform. It requires a lot of digital knowledge and many different digital applications. So learning them and, you know, getting adept at them is a skill I have. So I think that helps.
That's quite rational and quite logic. So you're saying your educational background is actually complementing and supporting your entrepreneurial
Definitely.
journey. And
Yes, definitely.
what would you advise for other women in the community? How should they plan their entrepreneurial journey? What should be the connectivity? And because I speak to many people, and there are many people who have a lot of ideas, but they lack that fundamental gap of understanding of what they want to do and what they are. So how do they connect that between where they are and where they need to go? How do they do
Well,
that?
I think it's very important to dream big, but to start small. I mean, that's what always works for me. You know, dream big, because then you're going to work for it and you're going to work in the right direction. But if you start small, I mean, little steps, it always helps out. You know, I think, you know, like we were discussing earlier, I'm no expert, but this is what worked for me. You know, starting baby steps. You know, one thing at a time. Like I said, I've been doing digital marketing for a long time now, but a lot of it was for family and friends. And then, you know, and then I stepped into this, and then I pushed it one step ahead by, you know, learning what's new, taking up courses, doing my, you know, complementary degrees or whatever is needed with it. So it always starts with baby steps, and then you go forward, and, you know, maybe just write it down. I'm still a writer. I used to do it on paper when I was younger, and now I do it, you know, on all the apps you have on your phone. So, you know, just write it down, write what you think you should be doing, what you want to be doing. And I think a good advice for women in our community is a lot to, you know, to explore different options rather than just following the crowd. You know, you just never know. You might be good at something that you're not aware of yet, because you haven't seen it or you haven't tried it. So it's very essential. You know, like marketing is not a background I'm from. I mean, I've done some marketing before, but I'm not like primarily a marketing person. But this involves a lot of marketing, and I've been studying. Yeah.
That's good. And how did your previous roles actually support or complement in your current entrepreneurial journey? Because a lot of people who want to get into entrepreneurial journeys, they don't realize that just jumping onto an idea is not good enough. You know, having the right skill set, speaking to the right people, having the right understanding of the subject, and what value do you actually create for people? That's essential. So what's your advice on that?
Well, when it comes to my previous roles, I think I worked for a while in Melbourne. So it was a very diverse culture and very different from my work culture in UAE. And I think that really helped me, because it gave me the confidence that I can and will, and I can succeed in different environments as well. So now Vas Sid has a you know, an array of clients all over the globe, from USA, primarily in USA, and then there are I'm in India now, so a lot in India, and then there are some, you know, in UAE, Australia. So so I think it was that really may have helped in building a confidence that I will be able to work in different work cultures. And the fact, like I said, it's tiny steps go a long way. So I'm originally from UAE. I mean, I grew up in UAE, and then I moved to Australia when I was a little bit older. And when I started work, I was, you're always unsure about how it's going to be. It was a new culture, it was a new work environment, but you adapt, and that's what I want to tell everyone out there. Eventually, you'll do it. So, I mean, it's natural to be scared in the beginning, but then eventually you do it.
I'll be taking a few notes for myself to learn, and also at the end of the conversation, maybe I'll flag that out. So adapt is one of the things that is essential. Two is having an understanding of where you are and where you need to go, and do your skill sets really complement to it. That's essential. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I know that you have clients all over the world, so there's a huge time difference. Australia is 5.5
Yes.
hours ahead of you. Also, America is probably 8 hours behind you, and then so you basically work 24/7. And I know Alina is there, your daughter. You got to balance between Ammi, mother-in-law, Alina, then all the responsibilities and the work. How do you manage it? How challenging is it, and how do you do justice to it?
Well, it's very challenging. It's very challenging. It's not only challenging for me, it's also challenging for my team who work with me. I try not to pressurize them, but at the same time, they're a part of this and they know what they've signed up for. So I try to see who's available if I need someone at a weird time. But at the same time, yeah, we try to pre-plan things mostly. Everything is very well pre-planned. We have a few set processes in place, which help us, overcome this problem. But at the same time, you just got to do what you got to do. I mean, there are bad days. I may stay up late, and then I may have to get up early morning the next day. I mean, it's just got to be done. So when you think of it as something that's got to be done, then you believe me, I've gone maybe 3 or 4 days with 3 hours of sleep and stuff like that. So it's possible. It's very much possible. I would think it isn't, but it actually is.
So you need to keep pushing yourself. That's the primary.
Yes, you do. Like I said, if you keep your mindset that you just got to do this, then you got it. I'm a very conscientious worker. I mean, I hate to market myself, but I am. That's just the truth. But so if for instance, if I'm running a client's campaign and the client is in the USA, so I will wake up at 4 o'clock. I'll keep an alarm. I'll wake up at 4 o'clock and I'll check how it's doing. Has it started? Has it not started? Has Facebook rejected the ad? Or what's going on? Because my client is expecting it to start at that time. So I'm going to wake up and I'm going to check how it's going. And if something needs to be done, I will get it done right then. And I think that really makes a difference, because it has actually helped me, because most of my clients I get from word of mouth. So that just shows, they can see my conscientious efforts.
Yeah. So the key message is mindset. Once you set the mindset,
Yes.
it takes what it takes, give what it takes,
yes,
and then try to do the best in whatever capability or capacity you have, and then move on. That's a good thing to learn from it. Now, one of the key things that I see is you were working, so you were employee. Now you are employing people. How fulfilling is that feeling?
It really is. It really is. It's a big difference. I try to be a very, very good employer. I try my best, because I've been lucky. I've had very good employers, actually, always. Okay. There was no haggling. There was no problem. There were never any, there were always good benefits and good bonuses. So so I know the feeling. I know the feeling of being relieved that, okay, I'm with someone good, I'm at a good company. So I know the feeling. So I try to create that feeling for my employees as well. I also try to, I know as cliches as it sounds, I also try to, support women, especially women who've been at home a while, and I feel they have the skill set, but they just can't do anything because they have to stay at home. And I'm a big supporter of that. Like I said, I wanted a virtual business right from the start.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was my next question. Like, are you partial towards women? Do you only employ women?
Yes, yes. No, I don't only employ women. Unfortunately, I haven't been lucky enough to find many women in the technical roles,
Mm,
but I try my best to get women in the non-technical roles. I mean, if I can find someone in the technical, it's great, but I usually don't. And I find a lot of women in the non-technical roles, and I just try to get them on board. I support them as much as I can. I have many women. When we have meetings, sometimes they're holding their baby with them, and that's
mm,
fine with me, as long as they're performing, as long as the baby is not all
mm.
over the meeting. I'm happy with that. I'm
Yeah,
fine with that. Yeah.
that's very good, and I think, how do you inspire your team? How do you inspire them to get what you want out of them? Because I know, especially when
Really, you want
women.
to know the truth? I inspire them with money. No, that's unfortunately the truth. But I think everyone needs something to look forward to.
Yeah, I
It's
guess reward is one of the part. Reward is one of the
yes,
part, but
yes,
I, I also think that apart from reward, it's many other things that go into it in terms of
definitely.
buying the vision that people have, and also as a person, what sort of a person you are, what sort of a leader you are, that you're guiding them and
No,
supporting
I
them. Those
always
things make a lot of difference.
yeah, I always try to include them in the decisions made by Vas Sid. So it's not like I'm the only power player there.
Yeah,
Even if it's a small role, I try to include them. I try to tell them, like, I have different niches. My clients are from different backgrounds and they have different businesses. So I try to tell each, whoever's good at whatever, you can help me with this. You're good at this. This. This client well. I want you to continue, working for him. So I think it's encouraging that way. And I've
hmm,
always had, Touchwood, I've been very, very lucky. They've always been good supporters, a little extra work, a little, it's never been a problem up until now. Of course, you have all sorts of people and you have to deal with them. But I prefer to keep the slate very clean and very easy to work with, kind of an atmosphere. I let them know if I'll let them know if they've done something wrong, and I also let them know how it's affected me. And how it's affected my business. And I always speak in like this is going to be bad for us. This is going to be bad for our business. You should make sure that this doesn't happen again.
yeah.
So it's in that terms. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's
Now,
encouraging.
yeah. Now, coming to your solutions that you provide, the offerings that you give to your clients or customers, what are the different offers that you like, offerings that you do, services, and how do you create value to customers?
Yeah, well, the service, it's a holistic digital marketing services. So I'll get back to holistic in a minute. I'll list out what we do. It's everything from like the bases like website designing to search engine optimization, search engine marketing, which is, pay-per-click ads and so on. And then there is the famous social media marketing. And on the social platforms, there is content marketing, blog writing, writing for target audiences, and forum writing and all of that, email marketing. So these are basically the services that we provide. But what was the next part of the question? Oh, how do we provide value? Like I said, a very conscientious effort towards the client. I've had someone, once tell me, one of my US clients told me that I've never had, a digital marketer who's considered my business as her own. And
Oh,
you've
that's a
done
good
just that.
compliment.
So
That's a
yeah,
good compliment.
that was very, very touching. I was totally moved that day. Not only because it's a great compliment, but also because she actually identified something that we really do. We make an effort to do that. So I always tell my team also this way, that it's not only that the client is checking on us, but please keep in mind that this is going to make the client lose money or make the client lose, something. So you got to be careful that we don't do that, because we want to do for the client what they want to do for themselves.
That's good. And I think, what do you think about the industry that you are in? Is it scalable? Are there enough opportunities there? Do you think, because there are many women around in our community who are married, who are highly educated. Every second wife of a friend that I know of is like either a graduate or an MBA or an engineering graduate. And there's a lot of skill set sitting there. There's a humongous amount of skill set, and they're looking for opportunities that they can do, balancing between their life and what they want to achieve. So do you think the industry or this domain has that opportunity for them, that they can start looking at to it? And what's your advice
Yes,
to them?
very, very much, actually, very, very much, because like I said, this domain is very virtual based. So you don't really physically have to be anywhere to be able to do a good job. I mean, you do for certain things like photography and stuff like that, but that can always be managed. So for women in our community, it's important that we understand that we can explore more of the areas that we're other than the areas that we're familiar with. So this is nothing, I mean, it's not science, it's something technical. You can always learn it. So I'm happy, and it definitely has a future, because like I said, digital marketing is the now, and digital marketing is definitely the future for a long time. And it's growing and it's changing every day, and it's easy for them to hop on and, like I said, find out what they're good at. I mean, not everyone may be a digital marketing strategist, but then you might be good at graphic designing, or you might be good at content writing, or you might be good at you might have a good technical background, so you might be able to help in the SEO. So just find out what you're good at, and that's, I think, very important.
Yeah. While you're on the record, I want to take this assurance from you that if anyone approaches you, do support them from Australia or anywhere else who have seen this video and get inspired, and they might reach out to you.
I will be happy to. Thank you. Yes, of course, I will be happy to.
Yeah, and thank you on behalf of the community for giving us that assurance of support. I have a question. Like, what I try to do is, how do I encourage people to come out of their comfort zone and do initiatives that I think they are actually capable of doing, and they're not exploring that end of their capabilities. So you tell me, what are your aspirations for our community? What do you think we should be heading in? I'm trying to learn what is the aspiration.
Yeah, well, as such, I think something I feel is lacking, and it's lacking first in me, so I want to work on this too, is an understanding, I think, not only as a community, not only for the women in our community, but also as a whole, more of an understanding of the politics of our country, and the political scenario and the entire system. I think it's very important for us to, and I want to start with myself. I'm really bad at it myself. So I want to start with, learning and understanding. And I think that's going to help in making us realize how important we are, where we stand, what our role is, and how we affect our community, our society, and the country as a whole. So it's very essential that we that I think I would encourage more women and myself to to read more, or to watch videos, or to watch what's happening in the news, and to be more aware of today. I mean, don't just do your jobs from morning to night. I mean, like, try to get out of your comfort zone, make that in. And I think it's very important for the husbands to support that. You don't know what your wife is capable of. You don't know. I think it's important for mothers to support that. You don't know what your daughter is capable of until she's going to try.
Will I be right in saying that the change that we want can be bought only by us? No one's going to come and do it for us. We have to do it ourselves. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds pretty much it. Yes.
Yeah. So what is the best advice you got? Do you get any best advice? Like, how do you pivot yourself? How do you maneuver when you hit a roadblock, when you get stuck? What do you do?
I think the best advice I've got is, my mom always says that, things, things always get done in bits and pieces. So, if you do hit a hurdle, then don't, that's not the end. You'll get through it, and then, something else will come, and then you'll get through that, and then you'll eventually get where you want to get. So I think that's very important. It's always impossible until it's done. So that's your own, that's what I believe in.
And what would be your advice to the community, fellow women entrepreneurs like you, fellow women in the community? What is your advice to them?
I think I would, like I said, to get out of your comfort zone, take a little time for yourself and do a little bit of reading, learning, exploring. Like I said, they just may be good at something they don't know. So I think that's very essential. I mean, to know more about the world, to know more about what they want, to write it down, to spend that little time by themselves. And then, of course, they have family, husbands, who else they want, friends to support them. And, they can read it out to them, or they can talk it out to them, and they'll get some good pieces of advice. Even when I started Vas Sid, I approached a lot of people. Like when I said I wanted to do something that was scalable from home, like a virtual business. So I had to do a lot of research on that, and I had to meet with a lot of people. I met with digital marketers from big companies. I had my sisters, plan that for me, and then I had my husband, make me speak to some of his friends that were in the developing world, and like in the developing world, I mean in the software development world. So I had to chat with them, and so it took a while before I could get to this. So it does take a while, and it don't give up just because you've just started. So go through it all the way to the end. That's what I would say.
That's interesting. And how can people like us support you?
Well, yes, by understanding the business setup. Sometimes I have people, especially the old school people, not understanding what a virtual setup is like. So spreading this awareness in society will help. What kind of a virtual setup we can do everything that a physical digital marketing company can do. In fact, there is no need for a physical digital marketing company. Actually, it's all done virtually anyway. So spreading that awareness can really help. And yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And what's future looking like for you? What's your future in Vas Sid? Where are you heading?
I think it's very important to dream big. So I have a lot of visions for the future. So I do have a lot of visions. I want, there is something that we really haven't, of course, I want expansion. Expansion is one of the primary things, but I also want to expand into different aspects of the field. Like I've always been thinking about teaching and training, like Vas Sid learning as well. So like it could be helpful to other people who want to start something like me, and where I was a couple of years ago. So I'd like to be helpful in that aspect as well. We haven't really worked on it, but we're very busy with clients now. But somewhere down the line, I'd like to be able to, once everything is set out, I'd like to be able to be teaching digital marketing as well. Run courses and help people with that.
Look, I'm very thankful, and my prayers are with you. I wish you the very best of success. Consider us here. We are here to support you in every possible capacity that we have and capabilities that we have. A very best of luck for your future, and hats off to you. It's an inspirational thing for me, and I have a purpose. I've got 7 girls in my family. I've got 2 daughters. My brother's got 3 daughters. My sister's got 2 daughters. And one of the things that inspires me or makes me do this is I am always worried about their future. The future is uncertain for many people, and the needs, the requirements, the skill sets of future are quite different. It's not how many marks you got or how educated you are, but it's more about what sort of a grit you have, what sort of a perseverance you have, what sort of an adaptability that you have. And I always try to build that in them. And it's not a one-off task, it's a continuous task. And when I speak to people like you, I get inspired and want to be part of it and support them so that they learn from this and they get inspired and they carry it forward. And that's my purpose of doing all this. And I really thank you for giving us this time. And I hope the community will get benefited out of it. If you have any questions for me, I'm all good.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's really admirable what you do as well. I mean, I've been seeing your work over the years, and it's really, really, it's commendable. And the influence you have on our community is also very commendable. I've seen it, and I'm sincerely impressed by it. I'm also impressed by what you're trying to do and start in your own house. You know, you have 7 lovely women in your house. I've met them, and it's great that you're starting from such a young age to instill in them this confidence, and I'm sure it's going to go really far. All the best to you as well.
Thank you so much. To wrap it up, the key 4 points that I took out of this conversation for women like you is to be adaptable, to improve their skill set, keep pushing themselves, and the fundamental thing is to build a mindset. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So thank you so much. You have a lovely day, and we wish you all the very best for your future. Consider us here if you need any support, anything that we can help you with. We are here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Highly appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.